right, we're live. We've got a very special podcast today. I've got my mate Ellie with me. He's brought along a very special guest. Most people know him as Good Night to everyone, but today is Good Night. So good night, good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good night to everyone.
Oh, well, boys, what a last minute podcast. Literally the last 3 hours we teed it up. Thanks for coming on, man. It's finally good to put a face to your name. No one else is going to get to see your face, but crazy times, man. So, bro, we were sort of kicking back before, having a bit of a yarn about what you're doing and what's going on. And I wanted to sort of open up the floodgates for you and let you say a bit. But I noticed there's been a bit of controversy, to say the least, around your page and what's the posts that you're making. Based on. Correct, right? I think there was you've been sharing quite a bit about people's feedback, if you want to call it that. I think we need to really talk to what you have, which is a page, right? Which is a humour page. There's not anything to be taken seriously or anything like that.
That's right.
You're just there to make people laugh. Most people that are Arab or Middle Eastern will understand the bulk of your jokes, as I do, because I love them. But bro, you've been copping some heat. And what's been the core issue that you've been facing?
I think it's that it's been going on for almost 2 years now.
2 years?
Yeah. It started pretty harsh, to be honest. But lately, I'm just trying to approach the page differently now.
When you say differently, are you trying to be more cautious with your humour?
The cautious part's been going on for almost 6-7 months now.
Okay, when you say cautious,
Cautious, let me give you an example. Something that happened maybe almost a year ago. I won't be saying, obviously, business names, but it was a very known business that I made a meme about. The meme wasn't even about them directly. Okay. I was emailed that night, being told to remove it. Obviously, I explained myself. And I think what made them a bit like, what's going on, is the way I was responding to my emails. Like, it's not some, kid that's sitting in his room.
Correct.
And he doesn't have knowledge or anything. Long story short, I did end up deleting the meme that night. But it escalated the next day where I copped a phone call from that person.
Wow.
I think what got the phone call going was just being a smeek, to be honest. And I sent him an email saying, if you want any memes, let me know. It's on the house.
But you're a comedian, right? That's sort of part of your thing.
I don't like to put myself under that category.
Correct.
How did you get your number? Did you put your number in the
signature? I don't know. It's in the
Snapchat. No, because look, there's a new generation.
Director.
Yeah, well, there's a new sort of form or generation of humour now, right? Like the George's page that we spoke about, similar thing. You don't know the people behind it, but they're just putting out heaps of funny stuff.
That's right.
And then you've got like your Isaac Nicoles that are just front and centre. You know who they are. And you got the Lebo memes. There's a few people doing it.
I mean, look, when I started the whole thing, I remember there was only Lebo memes. At the start.
Yeah, because Lebo memes has probably been the pioneer of all this for a while.
He was the base of it, and he was more on Snapchat, not really Instagram.
Correct.
And his memes were very generic and very basic.
Yeah.
And with all due respect, of course, he's a really good guy.
And it worked for him, but
100%.
Bro, 100%. people, mate. Fun. You would go on Snapchat just to wait for the Lebo memes page to come up. The best was the Lebo memes. People screaming out someone's had an accident. Lebo memes.
He was getting so much content.
Yeah,
everybody was sending it to him. He didn't even have to try. Everyone was sending it.
And the news, the news were using his clip
footage,
or like the Auburn 2144. It's like, bro, the area is more. They've got better information than the news do.
They're on the scene before anyone.
100%. So this pocket of you call you. I don't know. You're like a hidden comedian, I guess that's what the word is.
No, look, as I said, I thought, you know what, why not start something I've always had meme pages. I've always had, I've got bigger meme pages that I don't really focus on, but it was more like generic and basic as well. I thought, why not touch more on the area?
The area.
And what kicked off the page was, I was at Brighton one night and it's just Arabs everywhere, man. fireworks.
A cesspool.
Just random fireworks going off, and I'm just like, every 2 seconds I'm having. It reminds me of Lebanon.
It's like it, eh?
And I came home and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna post this. I said good night to everyone except Arabs who go to Brighton.
That's how it started.
What kicked it all off.
Because then you'd start good night to everyone except C63 owners.
Exactly.
And I love that one. Those
and
ones.
like,
oh my
and then
God.
I'm like, wait a second. People were just tagging each other, and that's how
sort of grew.
it grew up. And then I started on Instagram, and yeah,
There
this
you go.
is where I copped.
It's funny because Lebo's, like I used to live in Potts Hill, right next to Uguna. I was there for nearly, 2 years? Fireworks all the time. Police helicopters all the time.
I don't know what's the
Even now in Greystanes. I don't
I
know.
saw a meme the other day.
do they like wake up or I'm gonna go light up, you know?
Yeah, no, I saw a meme the other day saying, like, what are these people celebrating on a Tuesday night? Because every night in the area there's fireworks.
There's fireworks,
going off. Every night.
It's crazy. It used to be a thing when I was a kid. You'd go to Canberra and you'd buy the thing of fireworks and New
You know, I
Year's
looked
Eve
it up once.
to buy fireworks.
No, I looked it up once. That like why I like it was on Reddit. I would
Okay.
like I don't know if how true it is, but apparently, I don't know if I can say this, but apparently every after like successful drug deal,
Oh, really?
they throw some.
Now,
fireworks.
what drug dealer's going to go do fireworks? Nah,
Yeah.
Come
Hey,
on.
I don't know. They'd be shooting rounds in the air. Fireworks.
You
It
remember
was
the
something
shop
I read on
over, right?
Reddit, you know.
You know what? But you might be right because they throw shoes over the power lines. I don't know. Do they still do that? Drug
No,
dealers
no,
still
no.
do that?
Do you remember the shop on Woodville Road, the fireworks shop in Villawood?
Yeah.
I used to rock up there and just buy
Yeah,
fireworks.
yeah. That's right.
That's when I was like 7 years old. I used to
That's
get my neighbour
right.
used to drop me off, pick up fireworks.
We used to have someone who used to get them from Canberra. I don't know
Yeah.
how.
In Lebanon, they sell them at like
Oh, bro, Lebanon.
corner shops.
Because Lebanon you can't compare any economy to Lebanon. It's not economy. I don't know how it
And it's
works.
like dodgy fireworks.
It's
Where you light it up and you sit
the
there.
fireworks in Madrid.
And then you go to check it out and it just poof in your face.
Lebanon's the place where you'll have a moped and the guy started it with a screwdriver and it's his daily commute. It's crazy. Lebanon's crazy.
Something I liked in Lebanon, they've got this Bluetooth seatbelt thing. They don't put the seatbelt, but
It's a little, yeah. I actually, few years back,
funny
we
people.
were leaving a club. And I was with my mate and his cousin. They lived there. They had a BMW forward drive. So we jumped in the forward drive and the beeping is going for the seatbelt. So I'd already adapted quite early into the trip. So I didn't wear my seatbelt. I go, man, hey, this sound. He pulls out from somewhere the glove box. It's like a gold belt buckle.
Little clip, yeah.
It looks like the end of the belt, and he just clips it in. Like, bro, why don't you just put the belt on? Like, it will save your life. No. Can't put a seatbelt. Not in Lebanon. So yeah, it's funny. But so the fireworks, I see them all the time, especially in Grace. I don't know why. It's fucked. Tuesday night, Wednesday night fireworks.
So is that what started it all for you?
The
The
Brighton.
fireworks?
Or the bride and the thing. So fireworks are quite a pivotal part of your Instagram journey because that was what set you on, right? Set you on the
pretty
track.
much. Anything that was like area relatable,
Yeah.
just took off.
Well, because if you're an Arab that lives in the area or around the area, or you know,
Keep in mind, I don't live in the area.
Oh, you don't.
I don't. I live in like where Joshua's and Lachlan's live.
Okay, so you're out, but you understand it because you're Arab,
Yeah,
right?
'cause
Are you
my
Can I
work-
ask you? Are you Lebanese?
Yeah, I am Lebanese.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
My work's around that area. My cousins live around
Yeah,
that area, so I'm always around there. And
So you
we did
understand.
like when we came to Australia. I remember like we did live in Bankstown for like 3 months. And
That's enough.
like-
That'll do it for you.
And Dad's like, no, I didn't move from Lebanon to live in Lebanon. So I'm glad he took us out of the
Bro,
area.
it's pretty bad, eh? Bankstown's pretty full on sometimes. Fuck, it's full on. Greenacre, bro. Oh my god. It's like I'm Lebanese. I'm proud to say I love Lebos, but I fucking hate Lebos too. I hate me and I love me at the
Suicide
same
driving
time.
on during a parade, bro.
Suicide.
Got a Corolla
Bro.
that thinks it's a rally
Hey,
driver.
the crazy look. I have to say, I've really appreciated your humor because I fully understand it. Like I'm the first guy to say Lebos have ruined everything, from C63s to the brand Gucci to the hats that Gucci made to G-Star side
Just
bags
sheep, bro,
to the
sheep.
vapes. What else can we say? Fuck, iJuice
And
gone.
I realized
Finished, bro.
something.
iJuice is
I've
rubbish. It's
realized
done.
something. Those who like finance C63s. There's nothing wrong with financing, bro. But if you can't afford it, why finance it?
Hey,
You know?
look, yeah.
That's one thing. Second, I've realized that these people have lack of self-esteem and confidence where they need something to compensate. to pick up.
You know, a lot of it's the Fnis too, man.
Yeah,
like it's keeping up with the Joneses, but in the Lebanese community.
That's a Lebanese thing, you know.
It is.
There's a Lebanese saying that says people like bidayano, bidayano, which is like literally they don't have money. They're in debt.
They have to show. It's crazy, bro. I used to think like that. It's crazy. I used to actually aspire to achieve everything, but I didn't understand why I was aspiring to achieve it.
Exactly.
Which is a funny thing when you think about it, because you're like, why am I trying to do all this? What for?
100%.
And when you break it down, everything that we're talking about is meaningless. Like, the C63 is great and all these nice things are fantastic, but what's it going to do for your life, really? What's it going to do for your soul, for for the truth about life? It doesn't really do anything.
Distracts you, bro, from
correct
improving your.
But the problem I've seen is that, right, you get the C63, then the leg tat comes out, then the gold chains come out, then the hats come out, and it's like it's the same
What's next?
thing. Everyone's just
cut
doing
and paste. Everyone's a cut and paste.
correct. And then it's like you got to have the photo. I've spoken about this a few times on my pod here too, bro. With you got to have the photo with the Gucci bag in the shot, and it becomes this trend that everyone's setting, and then it's like okay, we're going to go from Ivy, then it's a Meriton, and then strippers, and then
you've got the every Lebo that stands like this.
Yeah,
the hands at the front.
Why are we like this? Because you go to Lebanon, we're not like that at all.
No.
Like,
Lebanon is completely different.
This is people that are not Lebanese listening to this, they won't understand what Lebanese people are
100%.
because the Lebanese people here are not like the people in Lebanon. Not even the slightest. The only drama you'll ever have in Lebanon is with an Aussie Lebo. Exactly. That's from Australia in Lebanon on holidays. You see the people, they live in harmony. Like they live in and around shit, war, corruption that is like rife since the 80s. They live in a war-torn place that's always jumping off with problems, but they live in harmony.
Exactly. They appreciate what they have.
Yeah.
And I've realized a lot of people who come from Lebanon, I'm sorry, but you came from a very bad place, and then, God provided.
Yeah.
In Australia, and you're safe financially, everything.
Yeah.
And then you start to, you get greedy.
Correct. That's the word, bro. Greed. That's greed. That's right.
And I don't think it is our culture, but it's more of a personality thing. I've realized, like a lot of Asians, for example, like that.
Yeah, it's not just Lebos. Yeah, let's be clear. It isn't just Lebos. As much as we like to trash them, because
we show it too much.
It's more important for us to show it. I think it's a weird. We've adopted this weird concept, and I think it's more in Sydney. I can't really comment on Melbourne or I don't know many Lebos from Melbourne or Queensland or other states, but especially in our circles in Sydney, it's very common. It's strange because it doesn't, like we said, doesn't do anything for your soul, and all it does is it just keeps creating this image.
Temporary happiness, bro.
Yeah, it's this little injection of dopamine to make you feel good. Someone's gonna like it. Someone's gonna love it. And, oh, bro, nice shoes. Oh, bro, nice bag. Oh. And I'm not sitting here saying there's nothing wrong with looking good and dressing well and all these things, but when you take it from here to here and it becomes everything.
It's the intentions behind it.
Yeah. Correct. So it sounds like the issues you're having is specifically around this sort of stuff, right? Because you're making jokes about it.
And it's serious.
Bro.
Hey, man, I gotta love them there.
That you have to.
I've got nothing against them, bro. Like, people I've worked for, people who work with me, a lot of my friends are Assyrians.
Yeah, bro. We're all.
And I think it was more like they gave a reaction. They reacted, and it was just good content. The fact they react, and it got to a point where it was a bit too much.
But you can, if you're in the culture, you understand it. Like you won't, because you're not sitting there saying, "Fuck Lebanese people for being Lebanese." You're making a joke about Lebanese people acting up, which is the humour in it, right? But I want to talk about this joke that you had about the wheelchair, because I can't forget about how good it was. I love that. I understand where the line is with humour, right? I fully understand it. I like some of the most controversial comics, and sometimes I'll cross the line, and sometimes I have to fuck. But you can appreciate humour in its purest form. But the joke was just 10 out of 10. Like the 4 steps to success, and the guy can't walk because he's in a wheelchair. Fuck, that's gold. And people were giving you shit about it. I can't.
Someone DM'd me. A girl DM'd me, and
is that the one you posted?
No, I don't know if I posted it.
You got to speak up a bit in yours.
Yeah. Did you post that one? You did.
I think so. I don't know. She was talking about that her mum is blind.
Oh no, you didn't. No, you didn't post that one.
God. And how she takes care of her, and then she said, but then even people in the wheelchair, they don't want to be treated like they are special.
Correct. The last thing they want to be known is that, yes, I am in a wheelchair.
And all of them actually laugh. The people who react are those who are, and I totally understand, bro. Like, imagine, for example, God forbid, my mum's in a wheelchair right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be upset for her, obviously, because she's suffering deep down. But again, if we're going to sit there and dwell over, like, it's not going to change anything.
It's not, because it's not. It should be taken with a grain of salt, because that's what humor is, right?
You got to thank God that you're okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, first, you're alive.
Correct.
Regardless what happened.
Yeah, but I think, again, humor it's not reality, right? So you can make a joke about anything. I can understand if someone was to get offended by it because someone they love or knows in a wheelchair. But again, it's not just pointing at that person.
Yeah.
It's a general joke about. It's not even making fun of people in a wheelchair. It's just like, I don't even know what you call it. It's just a very, very smart joke, right? Get your.
Sorry to cut you. I think it's more the fact I'm hiding behind the page. That's what pisses a lot of people off. And I like that. I am. I'm not really hiding.
I like that.
So I can imagine how many DMs you get about, "I'll show your face."
Yeah, like.
But it's not important, bro. You know the DJ Deadmau5?
Yeah.
You know, he wears this massive mouse head, right?
The big ears.
I feel like, if you probably doesn't sound like you know who he is. All right, so he's a real old school DJ. He's been around for a long time, but he was always wear this mask. No one knew what his face was.
Like Marshmallow.
Yeah, like Marshmallow. And he takes his mask off and you're like, oh, he's just a fucking white dude. Wow, doesn't change anything at all. I haven't stopped listening to him. I haven't started listening to him more because I saw his face. It doesn't change anything. There's a lot of artists that don't show their faces, but I think the way you're doing it, it's good. I like that humor. I like that dark sense of humor too.
Look, at the start, I was never anonymous. Like, I was out there.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where I'm like, first it was the fact people didn't know who it was behind the page. That worked. People always stuck around to see us. Mostly girls, obviously. And guys. Bro, guys, surprisingly, didn't want to get through my DMs.
That bad? Can you shed some more light on this? What do you mean in context with guys? Like
guys that I think that just a lot of guys feel more comfortable to talk to everyone. I think feels more comfortable to talk to a stranger.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's why psychologists are so famous or so popular.
Exactly, and that's something I was talking to on the way here, like about mental health and males' mental health.
Correct.
That us as Arabs, we were brought up to ignore.
Oh, bro, it doesn't exist in an Arab
Suck
household.
it up. That's what you got to do. Suck it up.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be doing this. You got to be the rock of the house.
100%.
Until when?
I got goosebumps when you said that because it's so true, bro. We are it's stigmatized almost not to be a bitch, right? Because if you have mental health problems or if you want to talk about it, you're a bitch, right? Or you're not really a man, so to speak. Bro, we could talk about this for hours because we're going through almost the end of a pandemic.
100%.
And the craziest thing is people having to sit at home and wait for things to happen, wait for the government, wait for their jobs.
You don't know what's next.
You don't know.
It's very unpredictable.
Bro, like I've got kids, like Elle can agree to, can understand. Like the last thing I would want to have to do is shut my doors and wait for the government to bail me out.
Yeah.
And the time where you're sitting at home, that's very, very crucial, you know. And I haven't seen or know anyone personally that's killed themselves, but I have been hearing a lot of things across the world, especially with quarantine. When you lock up in a hotel for 2 weeks. A friend of mine went to Lebanon mid-pandemic to be with his wife and get married and stuff. Came back 2 weeks in the hotel room. He didn't have one breath of fresh air for 2 weeks. No window open for 2 weeks in a room.
You have to pay for yourself to get locked up too.
It took $3,000 for the 2 weeks. And then when he come out, he had, you know, the trolleys when you leave. He had like 3 trolleys because he kept getting stuff. He got a humidifier. He got an air purifier. He got a PlayStation. He started loading up because he's there. But not many people can afford to buy all these things while they're sitting in a hotel room. And man, the mental health, it's really been front and center, I think, for a lot of men this year because a lot of men didn't realize they had mental health problems until they hit a pandemic. And
because they were too preoccupied with work.
Because you're always busy, right? You don't
busy.
think about as a man of a house looking after your family. You're always thinking about your family. So your routine exactly. It's pay the bills, come home, do this, do that, and all you're worrying about is your wife and your kids and everyone else. But when reality sits in and you're like, fuck, where's the next dollar coming from? Or when's this or when's that? That's when you're left to your own devices for too long. That's when it becomes an issue. So the good thing that people are finding some sort of comfort in your page, I think that's what you were sort of getting to, right?
Yeah, I mean, males and females, to be honest, but it got to a point where it was starting to affect me. And I'm the kind of person that if you're upset, if you're my friend and you're upset, I'll get upset with you. I'll go home very upset and I'll sleep upset. Yeah. I just didn't know how to... keep in mind, approaching this page, I was not prepared for any of this. Like what I've heard, seen, exposed to. I think it was more of like I was shocked and I just didn't know. I wanted to help, but I didn't know how to do it.
It's tough, man. Mental health is there's no corners, there's no box around it. It's such a vast thing to deal with.
Like you can't say because of this and this, this happened. No, it could. There's a lot of
things that can bring on anything. Like I've had a couple of run-ins in my own life. One of the big ones that people don't realize is their food that they take in. Intake of food, bro. A lot of sugar, high sugar diet, high cholesterol diet, high fast food diet affects your mental health, right?
Diet, lack of sleep,
lack of exercise, lack of sunlight. This is the problem too. We're dealing with the pandemic when they're saying to stay inside. And a lot of people don't realize this, we are always lacking in vitamin D. Always lacking. Even if you supplement it, you're still lacking. So the fact that we're already lacking vitamin D, if you take supplements, good on you. But if you're not in the sun and taking supplements, you're not getting the right nutrients that your body needs. So if you're sitting at home indoors, not leaving the house, worried about if you're going to get sick or not, worried about your next dollar.
You'll get sick because you're getting worried.
Correct.
It's a brain game.
100%.
It's a brain game. And even if you've got a bit of, something there.
Definitely.
Your brain starts to...
Right, too much time on your hands. Anyone left to their own devices for long enough, they'll implode. It's natural. It's how we're designed. Exactly. What I think is a big point is talking about it. And not going to a counsellor and saying, I need pills, but any form of communication. No. I think there is so many other ways to fix any mental issue. Not any. I'm not a doctor, but like the cause that I've sort of used in my own life, which I can say have worked for me, definitely exercise is a massive one. Lifting weight and actually hurting yourself in the best way you can, which is lifting weight, because you're damaging your muscles to get them bigger, right? But you're putting your body under stress, and that takes it off your brain a bit, switches it to your body. You stop focusing on the bad, you start focusing on where you are, what you're doing. So definitely exercise is a big one that I think, especially when the gyms close, right? This is the other problem. If you're a dude or a chick who's sort of on the fence, or you sort of can feel that you're a little bit anxious and you're a bit upset, and then all these things happen, you can't train and you can't do this. What do you do, right? What do you fucking do? Because then, I don't know if you saw when the gyms closed, all the online sales of weights went through the roof.
Everything was sold out.
People were selling fucking dumbbell sets for $600, like everything just started going through the roof. So how do you really deal with the issue? And this has sort of been a big thing for a lot of people this year, man, because...
We go back to greed as well. People took advantage.
Yeah. Oh, bro, not even like the biggest companies in the world made more money than they ever have during this pandemic.
Yeah, Amazon,
Bezos, mate, he quadrupled his income. Yeah. All these other companies, Facebook, all these bloody companies have ramped up. They've gone through the roof.
I think Elkin, I don't know if you got busy during the pandemic, man, but even for me, man, like, I think it was around March when they said, we're going into lockdown.
Correct, yeah.
I didn't stop. Like,
can you say what your line of work is? Do you talk about
construction?
Yeah, okay.
In construction.
Yeah, but construction here was odd, bro, because they let construction continue 7 days a week, right?
Yeah, they did. You could work over public holidays, Sundays.
So you got 30 drip rockers, Asian guys sitting there spitting on the floor, and you got plumbers
shooting in buckets,
right? Shooting in buckets, right? But you are all right because you're in construction. You're immune from the virus,
yeah.
You know what? It wasn't that. It's the way they looked at it is it's the biggest contributor to the economy, to the Australian economy.
They can't stop it.
So they didn't want to stop it. But then when does it stop being about the pandemic and start being about money?
Correct.
For them.
Correct. And that's
It's
how you
always
saw
been
it. Because
about
why your lives aren't as important as mine? Because I had to stop my business because I'm not a construction.
So they say essential workers are an essential job, and there's something that I saw says an essential job is anything that puts food on the table.
Bro, I'm glad you said that because when I heard the government say only essential businesses, the first thing I said was, who the fuck gave you the call to make my business essential or not? Well, is it essential to your economy or is it essential? Because any business that you operate is essential to your fucking life and your family's livelihood, right? So how can someone or some party say, well, your business isn't essential? You have to shut down. We can go into the conspiracy side of this pandemic and be here for hours, but I got the shits because, like in Australia particularly, we live a very safe life. We have everything. You can come here illegally and get a visa, a safety visa, and you can live here freely, work, all this stuff. You have so much protection here. It's almost complacent how lucky we are here.
We live in the best country in the world.
We do. We actually live in the best country in the world. So far, right? But you got to deal with it. Sometimes there's laws and rules and things that happen, but generally speaking, if you want to live and set up an opportunity for your family, this is the place to do it, 100%. Right? And because we live such a free lifestyle, we literally have no shackles anywhere. There are a lot of rules and driving, a lot of this and that, and going out and drinking. But that's not the core of the issue. But when you live a very relaxed life, knowing that you're at the bottom of the world, you've got no worries with terrorism. Your biggest issue with crime is bikies in the area. It's not that bad. Spiders, right? or fucking snakes, right? That's our biggest threats. You've got bikies, snakes, and spiders.
Lately,
straight out, right?
Doing my head in.
So when you look at how freely we live, and then all of a sudden that gets taken away from us. I don't know about you boys. This isn't a fact. From my own experience, I know in Sydney alone, a lot of people are using, like cocaine's a big one here. It's huge, right? It's as common as fucking water now. So you got a lot of these people that are strung out, well not strung out, but they're using drugs regularly, going out regularly, drinking regularly, and that all of a sudden just gets taken away from them, and they have to sit by themselves with their loved ones or whoever it is, and then they have to think and have time to think.
No, but I think the going out and everything got taken away, but the drug abuse kept going.
It probably got worse.
People were still doing it, and that was what contributed to the mental health issues that everybody had.
Just think about it, bro. They go out to have fun. They do coke, for example, to have fun.
Correct.
Imagine how boring it is at home.
100%.
They need something 100%. to keep them occupied.
Imagine the ones that are married that are doing it. You know what I mean? What are they going? It's a scary thought. Thank God I'm not a cocaine head. I can't, man. I had my time when I was younger, but it doesn't do anything for you. I always say nothing good ever happens with cocaine. Nothing. Think of a time you've used cocaine. Anything good ever happen from it? Never.
Bro, if it wasn't for this page, I would have never guessed how common it is in Australia.
I didn't realize, bro. I realize.
I still don't. I don't think I've ever been around.
What do you mean through your page? What do you? The more
you haven't been around a bag?
No,
Are you sure you're living in Sydney?
Yeah, bro.
You sure?
Bro, I've never been to American.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
You're the only Lebo I know that's never seen cocaine and never been around a bag of cocaine and never been to America.
Hang on, so how did you know it was so bad? Are people opening up to you and letting you know?
Bro, you've got families like
yeah,
a woman with kids doing it. A guy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's.
Bro, wow.
I don't want to sit here and talk about it because these people obviously trusted me with their stories, and obviously there's no name, but it will still upset them if I spoke about it.
Correct, yeah.
But look, if anybody's going to take anything from this that's watching, and you've got kids, feel blessed, feel so 100%. Privileged that you've got kids.
Oh my God, yeah.
Try to put everything make everything second to your family and to your health. If you don't have your health, and if your family doesn't have the health, everything else comes second to that. So if anybody 100%. Takes something from this, honestly, go probably hug your kids, give them a big hug and a kiss, your partner, husband, wife, whatever it is, and realize that drugs just comes it's
and good point, but it's just reading the amount of stuff and me seeing everything going on. It's easier said than done.
Oh, much easier said than done.
Because there's a void in their life.
That's right.
I feel like you're going to have to see someone after all this, after everyone opens up.
You sound like you've got a lot of shit on your heart, bro. We can sit here for a couple of hours.
No, look, I got to a point where I'm like, all right, I need to take care of myself before I take care of people.
Was it affecting your mental health?
Yeah, 100%.
And was it the people telling their stories, or was the hate you were copying, or was it a mix of everything?
No, it was more people. It was a bit of everything, bro. People telling me their stories, the hate. Bro, at least once a month, there's an Instagram account that's trying to expose me.
Okay. All right, so it's it gets a bit much.
I've kept a really good reputation for 2 years, bro. my circle, even before the page, my circle has always been very, very small.
That's good.
But at the same time, I don't want to bring the page to home, if that makes sense.
Well, it's like bringing your work home.
I've been followed home in the past, bro.
Are you joking?
Yeah.
Is this all because of the page?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do they do? Park outside the iJuice and wait for a Hilux and then follow you home? They just follow everyone.
It was the Lexus days, actually, bro. So I live where I live is very like, if you're driving into my street, you either live there or
you're not passing through.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had like, you don't see Lebos up there, and I've had this Lebo guy that used to came twice, and had a black Corolla. And like the fade, you can tell he's Lebo, and he would sit in front of my house and just look. Like I've got cameras around the house, I can see him.
I'm just trying to understand how an Instagram page that has 20,000 people has led to people rocking up to your house. Can you piece that together for me? Because
bro, until today, I still don't.
Were you counselling his missus by any chance?
Yeah, no.
Were you giving her a special form of counselling? Giving her counselling?
I think no. I think it was more the religious memes I've cracked in the past.
Okay, religion's always a controversial subject.
Extremely.
Very controversial, yeah. I can see if that's the basis of someone's problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
You've actually stopped doing that
100%.
lately.
Well, you know what? Because religion...
Completely.
Well, religion's an interesting one, right? Because like I said, I can understand humour. I'm the first person to laugh at any joke. But like if you go to a live skit and the guy's saying all these funny jokes and he makes a joke about God or something, you're like, man... Was it needed?
Yeah.
Was it necessary? But that's because I have a belief system.
Yeah.
I can only imagine if someone's belief system is 10 times more...
stronger than yours.
Stronger, or they just live and breathe it more.
They're more dedicated to it.
Correct. They hear something and they're like, whoa, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I understand if religion has played a part in some people's hate, but I think there was no malice intended because... There's a lot of humour you can get out of everything, including religion, but there's a line that you can't cross, right?
Bro, the reaction proved the point of the whole meme. Because you're defending a religion by doing against what your religion says.
That's a funny point. Point. Because you know what? Actually, well...
Yeah, like even us, Christianity or Islam or any other religion, we promote peace.
Correct.
We promote...
Yeah.
We don't, like conflict. There's no conflict, etc. But they use that to defend their religion. I'm like,
Was that the guy that came to your house?
Yeah, no. That was one of them. But like, bro, 90% of it was all like through fake accounts and even personal accounts. That never really worried me because if someone's gonna sit there on a fake account and try to have a go at me,
but you can understand when people take offense to religion. It's a hot topic.
I take offense, especially if it's over the top.
And I don't ignore it, bro. I'd sit there and explain myself that, bro, this is a joke.
Correct. Yeah.
I do apologize if it got to you, but you get to a point where I just want to go to sleep and not worry about.
Yeah, man. You
don't
have to.
I don't want to wake up with my face all over the internet.
No.
Which I obviously I still say I don't care, but I do care because, I was watching the Lebo Memes podcast the other day, and he said something where I don't want to go grab a coffee and someone's staring at me, bro. Even now, not many people know who I am, and I still get like someone smiling at me or like taking a photo of me and sending it to me. Is that
taking a photo of your shoes?
Ah, okay. So that maybe the voice they're picking up or something.
Maybe, or because I post where I go as well. I did it to myself. Right?
Yeah.
I don't blame anyone.
You're only human, bro. Look, the last thing you want is to have your livelihood, I guess, in question if
just more
over
privacy,
a page.
Bro, that's what
and that makes complete sense, man. But does the page does it make money for you? Is that sort of why you have it going, or you just love the humor out of it?
Maybe in the 2 years I've maybe made like $200-300 out of it.
Not bad.
We were talking about that on the way here. I said you never do sponsored ads. You never promote anything. He promotes people that for free.
Yeah.
To help people out.
If I like your product, I'll promote it. Like iJuice, for example.
You don't own iJuice?
Shout out to
you don't own. I've seen a lot of iJuice.
People think I own iJuice.
You know, I have the similar thing. Like I shared a thing about CBD yesterday, and it was only because I genuinely I trust it. I like it. It works. People should use it. And the guy messaged me, go, bro, thank you so much. But it's because I don't want nothing for it. I buy it off him all the time. I was like, fucking just use it. It's good, you know? And that's how it should be, but because if someone was to ask me someone actually asked me, does your podcast make money? And the first thing I'll say, well, if you're in this for money, you're in it for the wrong reason.
100%.
This is an organic thing, right? Podcasting, similar sort of thing with the meme page. If people find enough comfort in it and they love it enough, you can merch it, you can make money off it. But if the core goal is money, you won't go anywhere. Because all you're trying to figure out is how to make money off people, right?
And trust me, bro, like, as a business owner, it will pay off later.
Of course.
It will pay off. Because when you have a good network, eventually it will pay off later.
Oh,
like,
it's crazy,
other meme pages that got on the line now, like, I don't want to mention the names.
Yeah.
Bro, it's like YouTube ads. Between every meme, there's an ad.
It's funny, eh? It is like that. And then you'll see on some of them, there'll actually be an ad for a shop, for something, like what you'll do, but it's not paid, right? It's just...
Exactly. If I like your product, bro, I'll promote it.
No, it's good, man.
I don't care.
It's very good. It's very good because we need more of that, bro. Because a lot of people, it's the greed aspect again, right? Because if you have a full-time gig, so I treat this as a hobby. If I treat it as a side hustle, it's a completely different ballgame because then I have to invest money.
What do you mean? I invest time into this page.
Yeah.
Bro, I've invested way too much time in this page.
Look, when you love something, I like with this, I don't factor in how much time I've invested because it doesn't really bother me because I enjoy it. But yeah, you have to also factor that in, and especially if it's impacting your day-to-day life. If it's affecting your sleep, that's enough to stop it, right? Because your sleep is the most important thing for you. That's when your body's recovery. But so now, I guess where you are with the page, you've sort of diverted away from religion for obvious reasons.
Yeah, bro. Look, at the start, it helped me mentally as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'd go home. I can be myself. I can. It makes me happy when I make people laugh.
That's a good thing,
like,
bro.
It
That's
genuinely
a very,
makes
very
me
good
happy. If I can make you laugh, if I can, hear you for 10 minutes about your day, if you really need to have a chat, fair enough. And then it got to me where I started making those memes and dark humor, and it got to a point where I'm like, I don't care. I don't know if it was a bit of an ego,
I think it could be a bit of both.
Yeah.
I'm done. Couldn't give a shit and get over it. People, it's a joke, right? Because you can't. The problem with society is that we've conditioned ourselves to be offended by everything. So pages like yours tend to have to walk on eggshells because you don't want to offend people.
That's right.
A lot of comedians now that have podcasts, I follow a lot of podcasts, they actually have to explain a joke after they've said it, or they have to explain the context behind something.
Put a disclaimer.
So no one takes offense.
Correct.
To it,
There's certain words now that are very controversial, like retard. There's a few others that I probably prefer not to say, but that's a very controversial word that I'll hear a podcast or a stand-up thing, and the guy will say it and be like, oh, fuck, just so you know. And you're like, bro, it's a joke.
Yeah.
No one's getting offended by it. But this is where as a society, we are so worried about what this guy's doing, what this guy's saying, what this person... And you see now in this virus pandemic, people not wearing masks, you should be wearing masks, doing this, you can't go out, and everyone's like, dob on your neighbour, and it's all this new subculture of snitching and not being... like.
Judging.
I miss when we could just go on with our lives, and you do what you do, and I do what I do, and everyone does what they want.
Someone said something once. He said, "We're just a bunch of sinners judging each other for sinning differently."
That's so true. That's probably in the Bible somewhere too. But yeah, that's
like, honestly, bro. No one is perfect.
Nah, at all.
No one, in Arabic we say, no one has an umbrella over their head. We're all exposed to our imperfections.
100%.
Getting the best of us.
100%.
I've never intentionally meant to like hurt anyone or post a meme to get to someone. I've never had hate.
You're not doing it out of spite of somebody else. Yeah.
But I'm the kind of person that I hate to be basic. I like to be unique.
Yeah.
With my work, with my life, with my memes, with my jokes. I try my best to be unique, different.
I like that. That's good.
You've got a million meme pages out there. How come organically I grew up so quickly, for example?
But yours is funny because I got to say, bro, a lot of the things you say are things that I think about but don't say.
Yeah,
which is
I involve my personality too. Like, I interact a lot as well, which is good.
Yeah, you do. But see, like the stuff about C63, I can't say it enough, but I've been talking about how Levers have ruined that cast since they came out, right? But when you make a meme about it, it's like you're displaying my brain on your page, and I'm like, fuck, that's exactly how I think, bro. Wow.
I used to think that, but I never thought to say it. You
gotta articulate it like he does.
There
that's
are
the difference.
other meme pages that crack jokes and stuff and make memes, but I feel like they're almost hating on people rather than just taking a light jab at someone and having a joke.
Correct. Now you've got a niche in your humor,
and I roast myself, bro. 90% of the time.
No, you do. I like the one about the flat chest. That one. Working 10 hours to come home to a flat. Like, see that any girl that hasn't got tits is going to get offended, right? But you can't think about them because that's not every girl. You have to allow for the humor to come through, and that's what the core of it is. And Like if I'm a chick and I got small tits, I'm like, fuck, that's pretty funny, man. I hit the husband up for a boob job, right? But that's how I look at a joke and interpret it. I won't say I feel sorry for the people that haven't got tits, because it's not giving you shit for not having tits. It's just a fucking joke.
This chick DM'd me and she's like, offended. I'm like, don't worry, you look handsome. And she got even blocked me, bro.
Oh my god!
Even today, bro.
That's so good.
I'm so bad at like that. I didn't continue the chick with the blind mum, and she was saying that she loves my memes and the dark humor, and I'm like, you know what? I can't wait to post the next memes and your mum to see it. And she's like, she cracked up, and then I'm like, I should have never said that.
So, but bro, I love that. Is on your feet. That's you must be you must be a comedian deep down. Because you have that spark, bro. Because, look, most people wouldn't think to react with another joke, right? Because you push the line. You're like, all right, your mum's in a wheelchair. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't wait for your mum to see it. You're just knocking the cherry on top. Bro, from a comedian, a comic heard that, like, that's just fucking gold, right? Because it is. To be able to think like that on your toes, and that's what I can appreciate the humour. But then she probably would have got cut by that, right?
No, she actually laughed it off because she knows.
What a
she's
smart
been,
girl.
You know what? She's been following the page for a long time, and she knows who I am.
She knows it's not malicious.
Yeah,
exactly.
Bro. If you took anything, if anyone was to take your page as malicious, the fact she saw the humour in that.
Oh, the blind mum.
The blind mum, yeah, bro. She's very smart, but your page isn't. There's no jabs. You're not jabbing anyone.
It's not malicious intent.
No, you're jabbing Lebos in general, Arabs in general, or a specific community that you feel like jabbing at the time, which I fucking love. That's the best thing about humour, right? Any of the best comics in the world know how to do it well.
Yeah.
You just do it behind the scenes, right? I'd like to see a stand-up, how you go in stand-up. How would you do it? Rey Mysterio mask or something?
That's what I said. I said we should wear Rey Mysterio mask.
You know, I used to do a podcast before this one, and we did a podcast with those rappers called 1-4.
Oh, yeah.
They were full masked, bro, head to toe. One guy couldn't even see his eyes.
Oh, wow. Were they like wanted?
I don't know what the situation is. I didn't bother asking.
Was this before they like blew up?
It was just before, actually. So they just dropped like 3 tracks or something.
They're pretty cracker, but
Yeah, no,
they do really well.
Local boys from Western Sydney to go on the scene like that across the world, man. It's ASAP Ferg their songs. It's pretty crazy. But they did their thing with no masks on, and with their faces covered. And
intimidating.
Like it wasn't just intimidating. It was just I think a lot of them had. Well, I think after that, a few of them got arrested and went to jail. I think
they're on like arrest.
And they always talk about no face, no case, all that stuff. So, but no, it's good. It's good to have humor that you can relate to, because a lot of the stuff you watch something on Netflix and you'll have a laugh, but it's about another country or another situation. When you look at it, he's like, fuck, he's just talking, he's going in on the area. It's the best. That's why it's so good.
Yeah.
And you're not appealing to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? There's a special group of people, particularly Middle Easterns or their spouses.
Look, it's confusing sometimes, and I understand it's confusing when I do the questions, and my opinion is always there. But then I say, all right, it's a meme page. And yeah, I understand. Like, you can't mix meme page and your own opinion. If you want to say your own opinion, then show your face, which is fair enough.
Okay.
But this is why I'm like...
To be honest with you, bro, if I can say this, it's your page. It's your life. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, right? You've created a little goldmine with this page. Just do whatever you want, because the way it's going, man, people are loving it.
If people don't like it, they just don't have to follow it.
Yeah, but that's how it should be, right? You don't like something, you block it or you unfollow it. It's so simple. I do it all the time. I blocked Cardi B from ages ago. I fucking hope she dies, that bitch. But I don't want nothing to do with her. I don't want to hear none of her songs. I don't want nothing to do. I don't want to see nothing to do with her. And I just decided, block. I'm not going to sit there and complain and, Cardi B. No, because she can just, all right? Because I don't want nothing to do with that. But it's a lot of it is how we're conditioning ourselves, bro. We're getting offended by so many things, especially the little things. I think we're all just a bit too tense. I think the year's been a bit weird, and it hasn't been a normal life for most people.
And not all of these people can relate to what I'm talking about. It's just, bro, our community is extremely sugar-coated. And I was just talking about it the other day. How sugar-coated everything is. How on the outside is way, way different to what's on the inside.
That's very true.
And that creates trust issues. That creates doubts. And that's why, bro, like friendships, marriages, relationships, they just tend to fail because from the get-go, you show these red flags and then you just tend to ignore them.
Yeah, that's very true, bro. But, a lot of the stuff... if you're married now, where the world is now, it's not like how it was 10 years ago. It's completely different. I don't know how to describe it. Like I think what I've noticed, especially being a male, with a wife and a kid and stuff like that, there's been a lot of push around sex, right? And this is the crazy thing, when no one really pays attention to this. Sex is always in our face. It's always on our phone. It's not people having sex.
Everything is sexual.
Yeah, it's a sexual connotation. There's an image that's an ass sticking out or a cleavage sticking out, or there's something that's getting you hooked, right? Because marketing and advertising is always to get people hooked. Traditional forms were never, sex sells has always been a cliched saying for many years, but now it's like the only thing that sells is sex. Everything's got to have a sexual connotation to it. So when we're talking about people cheating and all these stuff and things happening in people's lives, there's so much distraction with filth in front of us all the time. You really, rarely get to see the truth.
Yeah. If I can touch on something, so they're normalizing all of this stuff, yeah, like all this.
And it's getting younger stuff. And younger.
Yeah, and
younger.
what's happening? Have you been seeing all these pedophiles that have been let off with good behaviour bonds?
Yeah.
You posted one on your Instagram yesterday. Yeah.
Another one today. Guy got he raped a girl he was babysitting in 1988, and they just let him out.
That's disgusting. Man.
Like I got goosebumps thinking about it because it's that. Look, I think pedophilia and these things are as bad, if not worse, than terrorism. I think a terrorist should be treated the same way a pedophile, because a pedophile would terrorize a family and a child exactly the same way a terrorist would terrorize a community.
Terrorism doesn't necessarily mean blowing something up or chopping someone's head off or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Terrorizing somebody is instilling fear in somebody and taking away their freedom.
Correct.
By terrorizing them. That's what it is.
Exactly.
So what these pedophiles are doing to these young kids, and this is it's really close to me because I've got young kids.
Correct. Yeah.
When somebody in a position of power does this to people, it's like the guy was a deputy principal or something.
Westmead, Kellyville, whatever it was.
Kellyville, whatever it is. The guy's let off on a good behaviour bond.
Well, bro, I think the judges are all. I think it's all big circle, mate. Everyone's
because they're all normalising it. That's what happens. It starts with sexualising everything. They sexualise, when that show Cuties came out on Netflix. That made me sick. Actually made me want to throw up.
Yeah.
And then because it's so common everywhere now, it's like it's normal. They're letting it go.
Yeah, 10, 15 years time, it's not going to get any better.
It's getting much worse.
It's getting worse.
That's
psychologically, man, these pedophiles are doing it based on a trauma or a payback.
This is a really
This is where the root of the problem. This is where we should focus as a community.
I'm so glad you said that.
Start with now. Now is the time to fix these kids, because in about 15, 20 years time,
they'll be out there doing it.
Pretty much.
You know what? I haven't watched a lot recently, but I used to watch a lot of stories of serial stuff. The guy, that NFL player who killed someone, Aaron, what's his name? Rodriguez. Hernandez, yeah. I watch all that sort of stuff. Yeah. You're right, bro. It's like 99% of people, besides Ted Bundy, you know the Ted Bundy story? Besides him, they've all been abused as a child.
If he was still around, bro, he'd have a field day.
He would have a following, bro. That's the crazy. Ted Bundy is probably the one diamond in the rough that is probably the only person. But you know what he said his problem was? Pornography, violent pornography. That's what led to what he did. Do you know much about Ted
No,
Bundy?
I never know who that is.
Ted Bundy was a guy who lived in a Christian home, white family, ace school, very intelligent, very articulate, never been in problem with the police, went to university, college, all this, full honest student, everything. Had a demon, bro, violent pornography. And this was back, I think, in the 80s, so it wouldn't be the same as today. Like, the media today is very, very different. Like, there's VR porn now. You know what I mean? Like, they were probably reading or watching videos, but he was into violent pornography.
So what did he do?
Bro, he would kidnap women, kill them, or rape them or kill them. I don't know which one it was, but they were on a campus, and they were all in the same area. He'd go and stay on the campus. There was actual footage of him being interviewed by local news about something completely unrelated. And he's there, behind the scenes, kidnaps them, rapes them, and then they disappear.
Is this in America?
It was in America, yeah. This is many years ago. Yeah. But he goes on death row. He ends up dying. And he says in one of his last interviews that he lived a good life, everything I just said about his family and stuff. His biggest demon was violent pornography. And he could never... he couldn't stop it.
So it wasn't because it happened to him when he was younger. No. It happened because he was exposed to it, and he became addicted to it.
So pornography, who was talking about it? I want to quote them, but I can't remember. It wears one of the frontal cortex or some part of your brain to a point where it becomes null.
It conditions your brain to that stuff.
So with pornography, he would start on like normal, and then it got worse and worse and worse to the point it had to be violent. That's why he acted on it, because he was consumed by it, right? So
that's like the extreme.
Exactly.
Now
very
you
extreme.
see that with like failed marriages and relationships.
Yeah, bro.
Like that.
Really, that's very true. You really do. But
And you're saying they're normalizing it now in like video clips and stuff. So they're conditioning all
Look
the
at
young
Cardi,
kids.
Cardi B just released a song called Wet Ass Pussy.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Wet Ass Pussy. That gets played on the radio, right? That gets played on the fucking radio at all times of the day. And you think, and this is where you're talking about normalizing shit. You're letting kids listen to a glorified stripper, ex-drug dealer talk about her pussy.
I reckon she stinks bad.
Oh, no, definitely. 100%. No. It wouldn't be a pretty sight or a smell. But she's an ex-stripper, ex-drug dealer selling her ass to the world, and little girls are looking at this guy.
She's got a daughter.
She got a daughter?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, my God.
She's got a kid, but I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, whatever it is.
Oh, see, that's scary,
Or
man.
maybe that kid doesn't like identify.
Yeah, that's probably one of those kids.
Could be anything.
But you know, the thing with rape, like back to the abuse and stuff, that is a big one. I've always tried to understand how would you fix that problem? Because those kids, they're not criminals. And unfortunately, they're not criminals yet, right? Because they become criminals because of what's happened to them.
Yeah, it's a mixture of like, you have the power. Sorry, bro. Go
No,
ahead.
I'm just saying, I don't even think it's kids that it's just happened to. I think it's anything, because they're conditioning everyone now to think everything's normal. Like, they're letting pedophiles off. So anything that was scaring pedophiles before, they're like,
scaring
oh,
them
I'm
now,
going to
yeah.
get done. I'll more than likely get let off. So I
Yeah.
might as well have a crack at this.
Well, they get a slap on the wrist. This teacher, right? So he put out an ad on the newspaper or online somewhere for
Like a
for
classified,
singles
yeah.
ad. He's that blinded by his dick that he thought a 14-year-old girl was replying to him wanting to have sex with him. That's how crazy.
And he
is.
offered her money.
And he offered her money. So she's a young girl approaching an old man. In what planet does that happen? Please, as a high school teacher, why would a girl be attracted to a high school teacher that doesn't go to the school? Please, they don't use their brain, right? So the trauma thing, you're right in saying that people will adopt these things over time because we'll condition ourselves, right? It's like if you do karate for 20 years, you'll condition your body to be a karate expert, right? It's the same sort of thing. If you just do the same concept, you absorb the same bullshit all the time, eventually you'll just become what you're absorbing.
When you're exposed to it,
Exactly.
you start
Which is
to-
that.
Yeah.
We're all imperfect.
Definitely,
and then
yeah.
everything around us is just going to feed that imperfection. And I've said this in the past. I don't know how much I can talk about, for example, the LGBT community.
You can say whatever you want on this podcast, bro.
Bro,
Speak your mind.
I've said this in the past where like people say, oh, we're born gay. Or we're born like that. Okay, maybe some have got hormonal
Differences. Yeah, I know a few people that have
sorry,
had that.
the import in me came
Yeah. That's all right, bro.
imbalances and stuff. But then you've got those who are confused. It's an
Definitely.
imperfection.
Hey.
And then when you feed it,
You're on the money, bro. Confusion. Lost.
You feed. It could be a phase, bro. It's normal. We all maybe some people have had a phase where they are attracted to the same sex, and when you feed it more, and when everyone around you is like okay with it,
Changes the way you do it, right?
100%.
It
100%.
changes it
And
all.
not just that, not just okay. You are more respected and like,
Yeah.
accepted.
Accepted. That's a big one. Look, my biggest reservation with the LGBT community is not them as humans, right? Because I'm a sinner like everyone else. I'm a scum like everyone else is, right? I'm just a normal dude. But my biggest reservation is the Mardi Gras. When there are little kids on parade, when there are men in G-strings and their balls hanging out everywhere, and women dressing as men, and kids are seeing it and being involved, I draw the line there. I can't.
But then who do you blame? Do you blame the organisers of the event, or do you blame the parents that are taking the kids?
The blame is on the government, the people that are taking their kids there, and the organisers of the event. Because it should strictly be... I don't know if Australia has children in their Mardi Gras. I have to double check it.
No, I don't think so.
I've seen footage overseas, particularly in America, children on these parades with their parents. And the scary thing, my biggest fear is kids being exposed to sexuality at a young age, which we're starting to see very common now. They're trying to introduce these teachings into school about different types of sex and masturbation, and for kids. And goosebumps again. I can't bring myself to be comfortable with that in any capacity. I don't care what anybody tells me, because
they're vulnerable, bro. They don't know.
They're a sponge, right? You know your kids are a sponge because when they get to a certain age and you say shit, they say shit.
I'll drop the F-bomb. They
say the F-bomb. They are sponges, right? Yeah. All they're doing is, because their brains are doing this, they're getting bigger and they're just sucking in more info, sucking it in. And if you put shit in front of them, they're just going to vacuum it up with their brains. And what's going to come out in 10 years? Like we said, they're going to come out and turn. So it's important what they're being exposed to.
And then you've got WAP playing on the radio and they can hear it whenever they want.
Exactly. And this is the issue where kids are the ones being targeted now, not the adults. Because I guarantee you, man, like LGBT community, they're probably the nicest people out there. They probably have, a lot of them are probably lost or confused, and they believe that what they believe is true, right? And I don't believe it's true. I don't believe that homosexuality is natural. I don't think it's a natural form, because I look at, for example, animals, right? A lot of people say we're similar to animals, whatever. I don't think we're similar to animals, but they're the next species we can relate to. In all the documentaries I've watched, all the stuff I've learned about animals over the years, the only incidents where animals fuck the same sex is when it's an accident. It's not a common thing. There are some animals that don't, they just fuck anything. Like there's a seahorse, male seahorse gives birth to the kids. Like there's some weird shit that goes on in there, right? But bottom line is, generally speaking, penis, vagina, kids, right?
It's like the whole reproduction thing that you're talking about.
And this is the other thing. So exactly what I'm getting to. Because then if you look at what sex really is in its purest form, it is designed for reproduction. Yeah. It's not designed for pleasure. The pleasure aspect is just a byproduct of the reproduction.
But you know what I can and what I do appreciate is that a mother and a mother or a father and a father can look after children and raise children better than some other, heterosexual couples.
Definitely.
And I fully appreciate that. Like I don't...
100%.
I'm so for giving kids every chance and every opportunity they can get.
Definitely.
And if it's with a mother and a mother or father and father, I'm all for it. I love that. I think it's so good.
I think if a kid's been given an opportunity... Yeah, okay.
If you're saying that, obviously they're the role models. There's mother and mother that are raising these kids. What are you raising then? A kid that's going to be accepting. You're just repeating history.
So this is a tough one, right?
Yeah, because look, we might not agree, because I'm not one for like trying to eradicate the LGBT.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. I know what you mean by, like, obviously, the kids being taken care of.
I've got no reservations to them. Like that community can do whatever they want in their own time, in their own space.
Everyone should be free to do what they want.
We were talking about that on the way here. We're talking about everybody deserves respect, whether your sexual orientation's like this, whether your religion is. You might not support it, but I'm not against it. And the way I look at it is, if these people they're working, they're making they're actually progressing in life, and they're giving children an opportunity to grow up. Doesn't necessarily mean, because you're saying that it's your argument is people say they're born with it, people say they're not, or people say they're conditioned to it. But you can grow up being raised by two men. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a homosexual when you get to there.
You're 100% right. I think where the controversy on that subject is there's two things, right? You've got quality of life for a child, and then you've got the thought process of how they're being raised. I'm very old school. I'm sure you probably are. I'm sure you are too. My thought, look, when I say I don't have any reservations for the LGBT, I don't. Bro, go and do what you want in your time. Where it became an issue, though, was when it encroached on my beliefs, and I had to get off my ass and go and vote. You remember that?
Yeah.
A year ago, whatever?
Yeah.
When that happened, I don't know if you remember, but a lot of Christians were getting attacked by the LGBT community because Christians don't agree with it. This is where I had the issue. Because now... LGBT are wanting to be accepted, but the Christian, it was predominantly the Christians that were vocal about it. Because no, we don't agree with this. And that guy went and painted over that mural, right? And, And we were sort of, as a Christian, a lot of the time people could say that we were being attacked by the LGBT community, because the Christian community were the only ones saying, well, no, we're opposed to the marriage, we're opposed to the plebiscite, all this stuff. And I think that's where a lot of that division started. And if you look at history, how it always repeats itself, the best way to win, the best way to dominate is divide and conquer. So in Australia, our division is predominantly, I think LGBT, they've taken a big front row seat, if you will. And then the other division is the Middle East division between Australians and Middle Easterns, especially since the riots, the Cronulla riots. These are quite significant moments in our history, which we can all relate to, I guess. But on your point about the LGBT, the raising children, I don't think it's healthy for two of the same sex to raise a child only because I'm a parent, right? I am a parent. I know there's things I can't do that my wife can. There's some things my wife can't do that I can do. To the point where my son, he'll wake up in the middle of the night. If he's in pain, he just wants his dad. But if he wants to be nurtured, he wants his mum, and he goes organically, because that's the beauty about a parent. There's a balance. There's a yin and there's a yang.
Even when the mum's nursing the baby, you can't nurse.
You can't do things.
You don't have the organs to do
and
it.
even down to the actual physical nursing, you can't.
You can't. Yeah.
So us as humans, we've been designed in a very unique way, to the point we all have our own individual fingerprint. If we're designed that uniquely, why would we try and change the way that things have always been? As in, like, I'll go back to the old school thought. If I think sex is for reproduction and for producing children, two sexes cannot do that. Therefore, I feel that is not. I wouldn't consider it to be classed as the same as a marriage. I wouldn't uphold a marriage in the LGBT as the same as a normal heterosexual marriage, because of what's involved, right? If you two guys want to go get married and then adopt a child, that is completely different to a man and a woman getting married, sleeping together, having a child naturally.
El's not
very
my
different.
type.
What's that?
El's not my type.
El's not your type? Which alphabet is your type? Thank you. So I don't understand it. From growing up, it was gay or straight, and then the trans stuff was in there. But now there's queer, and then there's this, and there's that, and there's the people. Like,
where do you draw the line now?
Exactly.
Because apparently LGBT is not just that anymore. It's got like
LGBTQ, the queer, right?
Because but it's got a few more after that.
And they've added to it.
There's a gender. There's one that's called two-spirit. I don't know what it is though.
That's the non-binary stuff. They don't. So this is the crazy thing, right? Yeah. This is exactly what we're talking about. People saying, no, I'm offended because I don't identify as a man. I identify as a water bottle.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
You have to. I'm a water bottle, Ellie.
That's it.
Okay?
Yeah.
You can't call me a man. I'm not a man.
Okay.
And I'm offended if you call me a man. And, like, that is the... I think it's psychopathic to say, yes, you can call yourself that. You ever watch the movie Big Daddy? You know, when he goes, what do you want to wear today? And he lets him wear whatever he wants. He dresses up as a kangaroo. What do you want to call yourself? And he calls himself fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex or some bullshit, right? And you see it, how crazy and how stupid that looks, right? His son's walking around pissing himself in a fucking kangaroo suit,
I get that.
calling himself a crazy name. Now, if you apply that to today and say, oh, well, I identify as this, no worries, because that's how you feel will allow you to identify, I think that's crazy. Because if I'm a dude and I identify as a female, which toilets am I going to use in the public area?
It gets complicated.
It gets complicated. But what have they started to do now? Unisex toilets. To see how the walls just keep falling over, it's a domino effect, right? So it started we've moved into a different subject altogether, but I think it's important because one of the biggest things, you said it before, a lot of people are lost. And I think when you're lost, and I'm not necessarily saying spiritually or religious, anything like that, when you're genuinely lost, you're more open to things. You're more open to try different things.
You associate yourself with as well.
You become the company you keep.
Exactly.
So association, yeah. No.
The import Indians.
He's trying to sneak
it. So but it's crazy.
Mate, it's just getting hot in here. That's
it is. You know what? It's. I think when there's too much testosterone in the same room, it gets. I don't know, bro. The fans. I might crank it up a little bit, but it's crazy how we've accepted it to be normal, and the people behind it have pushed the narrative, so we have to accept it. And if you don't accept it, you're considered as a bigot. Where the traditional way of thinking is almost being laughed at now. Where if you believe that husband and wife get married and have a child,
it's like it's a 21st century. Get with the times. That's the answer to everything. Everything.
Like I still won't let my son leave the house until he's married. That's how I think still. Because that's how I was raised. Because that's the right. Because why does he need to leave the house? I've got everything here for him.
I'm a bit biased when it comes to that because I lived on my own before I got married.
Oh, so this is where,
See, this is what, So my wife and I, we lived together before we got married. And people turn and tell me, hey, how about when your daughter wants to live with her boyfriend?
Yeah.
And I say, look, I'm not going to be the type to tell her not to. I think I want to, if I can educate my daughter to be as smart as she can be, and do the best I can.
Yeah.
I'd much rather my daughter live with her boyfriend, fiance, whatever it be. Doesn't necessarily have to have a title that I can let her go and live with her husband. I'd like her to iron out all the issues before she gets married, before she gets into a marriage, before she has kids, then gets divorced. Myself personally, a lot of people I know have come from broken families, and we don't want that for our kids.
Definitely not.
We don't want that for ourselves. Yeah. So I am a bit biased when it comes to that.
But I see why, right?
Yeah.
Bro, my
I'm a good
upbringing.
bloke.
Yeah, no, you're a
Yeah.
legend, bro. I was fortunate. My upbringing was a little bit different. Like my parents enforced this. You're not leaving. Like my dad would be very
It was
strict.
very traditional.
Yeah. Like you can't sleep at your mate's house till I was like a bit older. And my dad came around eventually because he became a bit more Aussie, right? But always strict. Like you ask my cousin about it, he'll tell you.
Yeah,
He'll laugh at it.
But sometimes being strict is not like when you shelter. Like I don't have kids, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I've seen how my parents raised me and my sibling.
Do you feel like you were more sheltered?
No, that's the thing.
Okay.
When you're more sheltered, you tend to like you get to a point
You
where
want to explore more.
Exactly.
that was
you
me,
get,
but-
you get to a point where like
there you go.
That was
get
me.
That's where the
exposed.
doobies come from.
That was me, bro. That was me.
And I've realized that as well with the community here. A lot of people are sheltered.
When you say sheltered, it's a tricky one because as a parent, you don't want your child to get caught up in this bullshit, right? So you try and
100%.
shelter them, but see, it's different when we were getting raised, right? So now your kids,
It's a different time. You've got to adapt now.
exactly, but you got friends that have got kids. I got friends that have got kids. There's a good chance they're going to be friends as they get older.
Yeah.
And if you've got good friends, which we should all have, and their kids are being raised by good people, then the chain doesn't get broken, right? That's what's very important. The sheltering, bro, I was sort of sheltered to a certain extent, and it actually drew me to go further and further away. But then I actually, as I got older, I grew up pretty quick. Like I was in a lot of jobs, I got expelled from school, almost got fucking arrested a million times. But when I got to an age where I found my calling, I took a step back and I said, man, if I didn't have that, I would be a completely different person today. As in, my dad could never, and even if he tried to explain to me why he wouldn't let me do something, it would never make sense, ever. Dad, he's sleeping there. Why can't I sleep there? You can't sleep there. You can't sleep, Dad.
But does he explain why?
Well, see, now it makes sense. But at the time, he would have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have heard that. I would have just heard, bro, you're a gronk. Let me sleep in my mate's house.
Yeah.
Right? But when you actually appreciate it, because when I slept in my mate's house, what
Now
did we
that
get
you're
up
a
to?
dad,
Yeah.
you can understand what he's talking about.
My son goes and does that at 16. He's going to get drunk with his mates. I know that.
Yeah.
But
You're not going to be able to baby your son for the rest of
no,
his life.
not at all, bro. Not at all.
And I think that's something I look forward when I get kids, where you have to be a role model.
Definitely.
Because, you drink, your kid's going to drink.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
swear, your kids are going to swear. You can't sit there and say, don't swear.
And you don't fucking swear, mate.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
And it goes back to what we spoke about now. The
Yeah.
C63
Yeah.
and the LGBT community. And it's all how these kids have been raised.
Well, they're growing up too quick, bro. Like I know kids, personally know kids, 14, 15, they were taking Xanax, fighting the sleep.
For what?
I'll tell you after.
Okay.
But they've had a bit of incident happen
Is
in
this
their
prescribed?
life. No, off the street. There's a guy sells
okay.
like a thing of tabs for like 10 or 20 bucks,
wow.
right? So they'd eat them, fight the sleep, and then that psychosis is what they enjoy. But they're literally trying to escape whatever demons they're battling. And to the point where one of them come home, he was that fucked, he didn't realise he bricked the street with cars. Bricked the cars in the street, just walked into his front door. Police came, they were waking him up the next morning. He couldn't even wake up. He was that out of it. And when I found this, like I know them very, very close to me. When I heard this, I started to become very concerned, obviously, because there's a kid who, at his age, eating that many Xanax, it's not good for their system to begin with, not necessarily their brain, but their organs are going to shut down eventually. He almost ended up in jail for a long time, man. It was very, very bad. But I looked at it and I thought, man, when I was 14, 15, what was I doing? I reckon I fingered a girl by then, and I smoked a few ciggies, and I probably had some beer. That's
I was
probably
on LimeWire downloading music.
LimeWire. I didn't have sexual relations with that woman. Remember that? You go and download a clip or something. But
Trying to find a free antivirus to my computer.
so when I was that age, none of these things existed. I didn't even think MySpace was around until I was like 16. So all the pressures these kids are facing now, particularly the brand push on branding, all the labels, that's a big one too, man. That's a real big one, because that's creating another false sense of this. Oh, I need to look like this. I need to have that. And our kids are growing up very different to how we grew up. That's why I'm trying to emulate how I grew up, because I don't.
It's hard. We need to adapt, but we need to.
We do.
The way we grew up, we need to adapt to the time that we're growing up in now, or raising our kids in.
Yeah, 100%. But at the same time, look, this is just my way. The way I like to do it. I still employ the traditional methods of raising my kid. Like I want him to grow up in that, have that sense of pride about where he's from. That's the first one.
But the culture, anyway.
The culture is a big one, bro. Because a lot of we're second generation.
We're losing it. We're losing it really quick. That's what we were talking about on the way here.
Bro, I'm glad, I can't believe I get goosebumps. I always get goosebumps when the shit hits me. But I speak about this a lot because I've realized as a society, right? So you got first generation Lebos, the parents, then they have their kid, which is us. And then if we marry Lebos, beautiful. Even if we don't, doesn't matter. But what's going to happen is because we don't speak as well as our parents do, we don't have the same cultural experience as our parents do. There's already a gap there.
Well, that's what we're talking about. So growing up, I only spoke Arabic at home, and now I only speak English at home.
You see, I was only English. I'm trying to teach my son. I'm trying to teach him Arabic now.
And you and I were talking about this about trying to send them to an Lebanese
speaking school.
Like that. Try to keep that culture alive.
Keep that embedded because that is culture is really when you got family and you got culture, and that's how you know who you are. I'm a Baysari. I'm Lebanese. This is who I am. I'm not changing it. I can't change it. I'm accepting it. I'm actually gonna embrace it, and I'm gonna love my life. And that's what we all should be telling our kids because.
Unless you're not from the menu, then you're good. If you're from the menu, forget about tradition.
Change it up, cuz you're not from the menu. Maybe change it to like Batroun or somewhere a bit nicer. But if you're from,
watch all the menu, I like this video.
God. My mate, I've got a lot of mates from the menu. I think my mum's dad, my mum's mum might be from the menu.
Yeah,
I think she might. There might be somewhere there. I don't like to talk about it, but it's out. But that's a quarter of me that I try and remove at all costs. But
no, they're cool people, bro.
I know, bro. I'm joking. I know. It's just funny because I have a lot of friends too, and we always joke about the minion. It's just, it's funny, but no, we are, but we're losing. It's just because we're in Australia, you know, we're losing. We're not losing, but we don't want to lose that cultural aspect of who we are.
But we're kind of rebranding it here too, like we were saying before, because the Lebos from Lebanon are not like us.
Bro, why do you think I want my son to speak Arabic?
Yeah.
I don't want him to learn that C63 is good. I don't want him to learn that you just have to be a builder. No offense to you boys. but genuinely, bro, because the stigma is, you know, what do you do? I'm a builder, right? Fuck, let's just call it what it is. Most Lebos are in construction. Yeah. I'm the odd one that got into
90% of them are cleaning sites.
Well, there you go. Well, fuck, so... but in traditionally, Lebos, we're inclined to just go into construction, right? I did it at school. Funny enough, I actually started my builder's license at school. I was 2 years into the course and I had a brain fart. After school, went to TAFE doing the builders. I had a brain fart. I'm like, bro, I don't want to do this. I don't like to do this. And at the time, my cousin had just started his company and he looked like he'd aged 30 years in like 1 year. I'm like, and he's always talking about chasing money and he was always owed money. I'm like, this just sounds like it's fucked. I don't want to do it. And I only wanted to do it because of who I was around. My cousins, my family, all the people. Oh, yeah, building. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a builder, man, no problem. But it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So I think for the kids, man, exposing them to the real, what's the word? The substance in life. What's important. I can't wait to take my boy back to Lebanon. That's life changing. Have you got, obviously you
I was born there.
I was born in Lebanon too.
Yes, have you guys been back since you've
I've been back a few times, not in my older years.
Yeah.
But
I was there last year, I think,
Oh yeah? The bomb was this year. The bombing was this year.
Yeah,
that
was a blast, bro. Too soon?
Oh, that corny joke. That's a fucking dad joke, bro. Right there. With,
so
a bit of spice on it.
For everyone to know, this guy loves Lebanon and he's still cracking jokes.
Yeah,
just so people don't take offense to all his other shit.
Bro, and that, you know, when that happened, that rocked me, man. I was calling everyone. I was freaking out.
I was upset. I was
so angry at the government that fuck those fuckwits that don't know how to protect their own people. Yeah. They have one job. Give your people fucking resources and look after them.
But the resources that were donated to Lebanon were getting stolen.
Because, you know, I put
money... we're all done it. Everybody done it.
But I don't know where it went. Y'all, who knows where it went,
you done a page?
Yeah.
Well,
that's something like I was very, very happy with. Raised like $24,000.
Wow, that's big, bro.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It was amazing.
That's really good. My mates organised a couple of containers, so we just bought all this stuff and put it in. I'm going, man, how do you know this is going to get to him? He goes, we got someone in the port. I go, the port that just got blown up. Yeah. Goes, I go, all right. It's just like... It blew my mind, bro. No pun intended, but that rocked me to my core, man. Because I have a special love for Lebanon. I'm born here, But bro, it does something when you go there. It grabs you by the heart, and you just can't change that feeling. It's you go to a foreign country, but you're local. It's weird.
Yeah.
You're seeing people that look like you, speak like you.
It's beautiful.
It's just it's one of the fucking most beautiful places on earth. And when it happened,
The first 3 weeks.
For the first 3 weeks, 100%. And then you start getting over it, and you're like, oh fuck. You're in the
And I
village
was
still.
driving there, bro. I drove in Lebanon.
I love driving in Lebanon. I live to drive in Lebanon.
It's like driving in Greenacre, but like times 10.
But you're allowed to hit people. It's different.
Yeah,
Greenacre, they get out. Lebanon, I actually had a hit in Lebanon. People that can't see the camera, I was driving on the wrong side of the road. One guy was going like this, and I was going like this, and we met in the middle and like smacked each other like that. I got out of the car. Had a rental car. I got out of the car, looked at his car. I promise you, it looked like it had gone through World War III. The whole fucking side was already smashed. I looked at it, I'm like, yallah, man, don't worry, got in the car. I get to the rental place, and I've heard stories they nick you there if you.
No, they'll hit you with the malice.
Yeah. They smash you on us. I was fucking worried. I was so worried. I actually went and bought toothpaste. I got some of the marks out. The guy comes, he's looking at the car, he goes, shuhayda, oh my God. He goes and calls the bloke, like his inspector. And I started getting really worried, yeah, because I'm there with my wife, and I was on my honeymoon. He was back into my honeymoon. And my dad's cousin and organizer, he wasn't with me. I'm like, fuck, I don't know this guy. He's looking at me, he goes, yeah. The guy comes, he's got his measuring tape. Bro, I promise you, full on. He's a bloke, just a shagili from the back. He comes. He's like, $13. So what?
$30 for the people that don't.
I thought he said $13. I said $13. Because take my money, bro. Take it. But the one thing I will never, ever forget about Lebanon, no matter when you go, whenever you go, the people are always happy.
Yeah.
They are always happy, especially to see an Australian, because they know you got money.
Yeah.
They know you're coming to spend, and you need it for a good time. But they are genuinely beautiful people, and I would love for that to be here, man, and to change the dynamic of the Lebos to the real Lebos of who we are, bro. We're not.
No, bro. I've realized that as well. With like, I was sat down once and I'm thinking, why are Lebos here different? And then I've like Lebos who came 20, 30 years ago. Speaking of Minnawi, for example, people in Lebanon, Minnawi and Lebanon, they don't even talk like that anymore.
Yeah.
When you come 30, 40, you came 30, 40 years ago, and then your kids were raised based on what you know 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Obviously, your kids are going to come up like that. You know,
it's very true. It's true, bro.
It's very old school. It's very like, it's not updated.
Well, so it's very true, bro. It's very true. But what doesn't help us is when the police introduce the Middle Eastern Organised Crime Unit, and they've got Miyok on the side of their cars driving around looking for Lebos. That sort of creates a bit more of a problem at the same time. We haven't done ourselves any favours, but at the same time, we now have a target on us, so to speak.
Bro, I'm Lebanese, yeah. I've been pulled over multiple times.
Yeah.
It's the way you approach everything. It's not just cops, bro. It's
So
the way you
true.
talk to them. It's
So
like if you're gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, what guys?" Obviously, he's gonna be like, "All right, you're gonna talk to me like that."
Yeah.
Forget it. I'm gonna look at everything in your car.
I gotta tell you,
I've got my car is like heavily tinted.
Yeah.
I've got illegal tires on it, like sticking
your bulletproof
out.
glass, here.
Huh?
Bulletproof glass.
Like I've got so many defects in my car, but then I sit there and be like, "Yep, no problem. Here's my license. I do apologize. Thank you."
Very
not
polite.
Not once I had a problem with a cop. Like
Me either. I had one yesterday, but I got pulled over. I got to tell you this. It actually happened yesterday. On the M4 coming to work, I'm a bit late. I'm in the right lane. I drive like I'm in Lebanon still sometimes. So I'm in the right lane. This guy's sitting there doing 80. So I'm going to flash him and try and...
Get on the high beams.
Fuck, yeah. So I go around him and just go in front with no indicator, right? Hits the fucking lights. It's an SS undercover cop, right? Oh, fuck. Pulls me over. Why are you speeding? Got your license? Yep. I said, mate, I'm speeding. I'm late for work. I'm really sorry. I said, but mate, you were sitting in the right lane doing 80 clicks. Because, mate, whose job is that to tell who's in the right lane or not? I said, you know what? As soon as he got defense, I said, bro, you're right. I said, no problem. He goes, what would you like to lose? Do you want your license, Ben? I said, yeah. He goes, would you like to lose it for reckless driving, indicating changing lanes and indicator, speeding? I'm like, mate, look, you're right, man. I was driving like a dick and I'm really sorry. Takes my license, goes to the car. He's gone 5 minutes, comes back. He goes, how many demerit points you lost? I said, I think I've only lost 2. I've got 11 points left. He goes, mate, today is your lucky day. My system's down. I'm going to go back to the station and check your license details. If you tell them the truth, you won't get a fine.
Systems down my ass.
Bro,
They do that all the time.
But
though.
you know what? I genuinely, how I reacted and kept going, go, fuck yeah, and he actually got out of the car on the M4 without a high vis on, and it was raining, peak hour traffic. So in my head, I'm like, you know what? You're going to cop it today, bro. You're going to nick me, I'm going to nick you too.
Yeah, muggers tonight.
Oh, brother, you're going to have a mugger sandwich. And then I completely changed my tone. I realised, yeah, Ben, you were driving like a fuckwit. You're not in Beirut anymore. Yeah. It's silver water. You're trying to go to work. You're in the wrong. Just cop it on the chin. Whatever happens, it's your fault.
When this happened? Yesterday?
Yesterday morning.
Next Wednesday, you're going to call me and say, this can't send me a fucking fine in the mail.
But you know what? If he does, like, fuck it. It is what it is. But you're right. When you changed your tone, and I've got a decent, my record's okay. I haven't really had any issues.
No one likes, bro. Look, I respect everyone, but not many people like the cops, obviously, because it's not like an ambulance or a fire brigade that's trying to help you.
But you know the
what?
cops.
I don't mind, but cops are tops. Just highway patrol. They're dogs.
No, you know what? But
You gotta be smart. ضحك عليهم, bro.
Yeah, always.
Thank
bro.
you. Sorry.
Yeah.
What are you losing? You're the one who's like, you're gonna pull your phone out. You know, deep down, it's gonna go downhill from there.
Police are humans enforcing the law. They are not enforcing the law. They are not dictating the law. They're enforcing the law.
It's their job.
Correct.
100%.
I guarantee you, out of 100 cops, you're going to get a couple of rotten eggs that are just fuckwits. And remember that guy in the area? Was his name Murphy?
Murphy,
that Raptor 13. Yeah, I was hoping to get pulled over by him. I just wanted to, just so I could have a go at him. I just wanted to, like, he's just so racist.
You can't win.
You can't.
You can't win with him, no. When he's in position of power.
Exactly. But he's been, I think he got demoted.
Whatever.
But he was talking, look, at the same time, you're going to get a couple of rotten eggs like that. But the bulk of police are just trying to do their job. Now, a lot of people don't ever really think like this, but I hope everybody starts to think like this, especially with law enforcement. I don't hate cops, but I'm not going to go invite them to my house for coffee. But at the same time, they are doing a job, right? 100%. They wake up in the morning for 65, 70 grand, whatever the fuck it is. It's not a lot of money to go and put their life on the line for people they don't know. That is a crazy fucking thought. Like, imagine you got up for 70 grand a year, you kissed your wife and kids goodbye. Kissed your wife and said, I love you, I might not see you when I get home. I'm going to go and protect the fucking people that live next door to us.
But just to let you know that construction's probably about 100 times more dangerous. Yeah. Like, we have 100 times more deaths on the job than what they do.
100%.
Just so
100%.
everybody out there knows.
Look, in Australia, God bless this country. We're so fortunate. We don't have to deal with half the shit, like, for example, the US has to deal with. But still, as a cop, bro, you get a call, domestic violence, that could turn into bloodshed in a heartbeat.
Hey, with all the drugs that's going around, like ice and everything now, you can't even handle these people that are on their drugs.
You know...
But then, have you ever walked on a scaffold that was built by a Lebo?
It's like walking on... Doesn't mean on drugs walking, right? I got a guy, an old friend of mine, he just started a new arm of his business. It's a meth testing business, right? So he goes to your house. If you want to buy a house or rent a house, he'll test it for meth. If there's a residue from people cooking meth in their house. It's very, very bad, like all the chemicals and stuff. It's a business.
Is there a market for that?
Is there a market? I heard about this product 6 months ago on the radio, 2GB, or even longer.
But would it stop you from buying a house if it was cooked in there? Is it because it's going to end up in your system? I don't know. What's the deal with it?
I think so. The residue in the house is, if you've got kids and they're touching the walls and hands in their mouth, it's the chemicals of they're using very high toxic chemicals for making
it's like cigarette smoke on your clothes and your 100%. Kids. It affects your kids.
But this will probably work.
Or curry.
Bro.
I worked in houses.
Yeah. I got an apartment that I leased to Indian. Well, they're not now, but mate, I had to spend a lot of time getting the smell out. But it's just...
As bad as meth.
Exactly. You could probably get him in there to fix it, right? But the meth test, like, it's actually... This
is a thing now.
I heard about it a few months back. I can't remember how long ago. It was on 873. And the guy was saying... He was like the first company that was doing it. He was saying 60% or 50% of the houses he was testing were showing positive signs of methamphetamines.
Where's this guy, in Claymore or something?
I don't know, probably in
Bidwell?
fucking Bidwell and Blackhead and all those areas. But even still, right, there's a business now for meth to check your house. But Australians in 2018 spent $1 billion on methamphetamine. That's what the feds were able to report on. $1 billion on methamphetamine. Right. You ever see the big shipments of meth getting shut down? Big organisations getting stopped. It's so easy to make. I say easy.
What about all the ones getting through?
We only see what gets caught, right? Yeah. You see them putting him in excavator buckets. You see them, they're using liquid now.
The other day they said they had like 498 kilos of MDMA, and I'm thinking where'd the other 2 kilos go?
Who's going to send 498, yeah? Who's going to, because you're sending 500 kilos, brother. You're sending
Someone's taking another 2 kilos.
100%, a little cut off the back. Yeah, cuz I got New Year's coming up, you know? But yeah, we have a huge, that's a big one. They catch a lot of it, but they miss a lot too.
Yeah.
And now the drug dealers are getting smarter, where they're getting, so I heard about this in America. They're crossing the border from Mexico to the US. Those trucks that they drive, they'll have a tank on the back, a diesel tank. They'll actually put the liquid cocaine with the diesel. When they get out, they separate it. They mix it with water or something, separate it, extract it. Boom, there's your cocaine. So the cop's going to lift up the tank, even if he opens it, he's not going to see. He's just going to smell. Yep, smells like petrol. Well, cool. On you go. They're becoming very sophisticated. But the ice, especially in...
if anything, we should be calling an ice a pandemic.
Oh, that's the pandemic, bro.
Because ice is...
It's huge.
It's a poison. I don't even think it's a drug. It's a
fucking
poison.
Disgusting.
The thing it does to people in Australia especially, man, is it's crazy. It's out of this world. The way people act on it, the way people behave on it, it's not a drug. It's a poison. It's killing people.
Have you met someone that's taken? Do you know anyone that's had it?
No, I don't know.
I'm fortunate to meet someone. One of my very good mates, when he was younger, had a pretty fucked up teenage couple of years. And he tried it once. And he said to me, Ben, it was like the devil was using my body. Like I was the devil. He's like, all I thought about was bad shit. He kept, what was he saying? He felt like he was just constantly awake. He couldn't sleep. He was crazy. He wanted to just fucking, he was in this state of like
Is this from the first time he tried it?
First time, one time. He never touched it again after that. And it was like one of those things, all the boys are doing it, like hit it, right, sort of thing. He goes, bro, like he scared him. And like I've done over the years some drugs with him, and that scared him. And for him to say that, I realised that it's quite a serious drug, bro. And people having kids in the houses and then using it with kids, and bro, this is the real pandemic. You're right.
Yeah, there was a guy on 2GB the other day talking about how his son got on it, and he got really emotional. He said, "We need to stop calling this thing a drug. It's a poison, because what it's done to my son, it's turned him into a different person."
Yeah,
people take drugs recreationally. People take drugs to rehabilitate themselves. People take drugs. There's prescription
Correct,
drugs.
yeah.
He got so upset, and he actually started crying on air when he was talking to Ray Hadley, and he's saying, it's not a drug. We need to stop calling it that. It's a poison, because of what it's doing to people, and it's so accessible now. Everybody gets it.
It is, bro. I always talk about this. I think they need to treat drugs, especially like ice, as a health issue, no longer a criminal issue. Like we need to apply funding from the health department to fix it, because people are going on it, and jail isn't how you get off it.
Are people going to Marquee and having a smoke of ice in the toilet? Do people
I don't go. I haven't gone clubbing in.
No, I'm just saying. Do people use it as a recreational drug, or do they use it?
I think they do coke.
They do coke. They'll do G, MDMA.
That's where you're trying to split it from being a recreational drug.
Ice, bro. I feel like ice is just for those people that have got some dark shit in their lives. Like they're dealing with some real dark shit. Like, because I don't know. It's sort of, from what I've heard and what I understand of it, it makes you become a different person out of it. It changes you. You look different, you speak different, you act different, everything changes. And there was a video in the area of this Lebo guy who's on it. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
that guy comes to us for cigarettes. You got cigarettes, guys. Like, it's fucking scary, bro.
It's sad.
It's very sad.
Very sad.
Like, I'm not going to lie, I laughed at it because I like a bit of humour, but then you're not going to keep...
But he's obviously in...
He's in need.
Coming from me, right. But he's not in there, like... He's not awake. He's not...
Nah, it's he's not himself, bro. And then have you ever seen when people get off ice?
No, I don't know.
How their faces change. You see when people use ice, it's like their face has been sucked back. It's it's like someone's tied the back of their head. It's weird, bro. It's real fucking weird. And they get all these scabs and they've...
You can imagine they're not eating.
No. Because they're up for 3 days on it. I think 1 point of ice is 3 days of... up or 2 days
being
up.
awake.
Yeah, I think it's that. I don't know. It's a crazy... Like, I don't know how to... I think with cocaine you buy a gram, with ketamine you buy a gram, with ice you buy a point of a gram.
Wow.
Because you don't need that much. It's such a potent drug. That's what's scary. And then now the G, I don't know, GHB, I think it's called, liquid fucking... That's pretty popular too. So we're as a society, we like ingesting harmful chemicals, but we just like to get fucked up.
Temporary high.
We like to get fucked up. We're allowed to drink. That's why we go and belt ourselves, right? That's why we have all these laws about drinking, because we don't know how to control ourselves. That's the truth. They have to impose all these fucking laws about shots after 12 because we're all idiots. We go out on the loose, we go and cause mayhem, we get a couple of drinks into us and we become psychopaths. the ice and all these other drugs, man, it's not helping the cause, but we're conditioning our people, our society, particularly in the East, bro. Cocaine, it's a white-collar drug. It's more accepted.
Right, but I don't think it will ever get any better from here because
it could.
People are being... Someone is obviously being fed.
Oh, bro, 100%. Someone's lying in their pockets for sure.
And imagine you sitting on your ass doing nothing, making millions of dollars.
Well, if I'm the government and I want to switch who's making the million to me, just legalize it. Legalize it, tax it, and then regulate it. If you could regulate...
That's less money for them. It's not to their pocket. It's like doing a cash job and doing a job with GST.
It's like kickbacks for them.
It is, but so what they have to realise is the aftershock, right? The 10 years, 15 years down the track, when all these thousands and thousands of people that are young using ice for years and years and years, what's going to happen to our economy in 10 years' time from here? And I'm not one to I don't think legalising ice is how you fix the problem. But ice in particular, exclude cocaine, exclude marijuana, exclude everything but ice for this comment. It's not even heroin, bro. Heroin's not even that bad anymore as ice. Just talk about ice. They need to do something that will break down the drug dealer's ability to produce it. And they need to produce a cleaner form of it so they can start getting people off it. That's literally how you have to do it. It's crazy.
Anything that you do more than you should is a drug. It's bad for you.
Cocaine,
it could be cocaine,
coffee, cigarettes.
Weed, cigarettes, obesity.
Yeah. 100%.
Meth maybe is a short-term thing,
but I think I just see how bad it's getting and how common it is,
100%.
and I think the more they keep trying to outlaw it, it's not going to change people's perception of it because people will happily keep doing it
psychologically.
Yeah, but if the government said if you get caught with ice, you have to go to a rehabilitation program, as in replace the rehab for jail, replace jail for rehab, right? Costs to the economy pretty much the same or maybe a little bit more. But they're going into a facility that is specifically trying to change their behaviour, not take them off drugs.
They're mending it. They're not punishing.
Correct. They're going to the source of the problem. They're not just saying, well, here, you fucked up, go to jail. Here, you fucked up, go to jail. Get to the core issue. Go right in. What?
Lebanon, if they catch you with a bit of weed, bro, you rot in jail with the killers.
Oh, my God. Yeah, right? Oh, I almost got done once in Lebanon with weed. Wow.
I thought you just pay like $30.
No. If you know people, it's different.
I'm from Baalbek.
Are you from Baalbek? Oh, what a place, bro. Well, the mountains. I went through, I went on the quads. We were doing the tour of the Aras, and then we get down to Yun Agrush. Is that what it's called? What's that place called?
I wouldn't know.
It's near Baalbek, but where all the weed is, all the hashish grows. I'm on the quad. I'm like, yeah.
It's normal.
Where are we, man? It's crazy.
But they only sell it. They don't smoke it.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy. But they have to. That's how they maintain income, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. If you get caught with it there, you're fucked. Good luck, mate. See you later. But fuck, Lebanon.
Just to show you how corrupt the politics is.
I can't believe how dumb. That's so dumb.
Everything is.
They will siphon money out of their economy. If you get caught with weed, you go to jail for life. It's like literally you do big time in there for weed. It's fucking mental. It's the most corrupt country known to mankind. But look, I think with ICE, if we were able to find a solution that gets to the behavioural issue, not the drug use issue, because that drug use issue is never going to go anywhere. Yeah. Our behaviour as society, as humans, is changing. It's getting worse. So government needs to stop that somehow. That's I think the only way, bro. Because look at the years, look at the trend. Go back 5 years ago. Look how much worse it is. It's fucked.
When did ice become cool? Because everyone does it now.
I don't know.
I think it's more coke, bro. Like I don't know if we're talking our community.
Our community, ice isn't that big.
Yeah, it's more
cocaine is more.
Cocaine
big.
is huge in our community, and
I don't think much people in Lebanon even on meth. I don't think I can.
Bro, I didn't even know meth existed. Like when I came here and like I was exposed to the page and everything, all I knew was coke and weed. And then G and MDMA and pills, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah. There's more, bro. There's more.
I'm gonna pop 2 Nurophens and
there's
gonna
more.
Get a bed.
No, there's a lot more, but the ice, it's doing real problems, and a lot of people I've spoken to that have had run-ins with people on ice. Well, a lot of my mates used to be security guards in Bondi and all this stuff, and they'll tell you stories. They get into fights with ice junkies.
So you never get in a fight.
And they hit them, and they don't drop.
They don't feel anything.
They get up. They feel it. So there's a lot of other problems, not just domestically, but it would have hurt the economy because you've got to spend more money with police to police it because it's growing faster than we can keep up with. So I don't know the silver bullet for ice, bro. It's a behavioural thing.
Do more meth, less meth.
Do less meth. I reckon they should replace ice with weed. That's what I think would fix the problem. That's just my
Just
thought.
replace it with water, bro.
With water, yeah, I love water too, but yeah, I don't know.
Benny's like an advocate for weed.
Cause look, I'll talk to you about weed real quick, right? I grew up, didn't touch weed, didn't do any drugs, nothing. I tried weed when I was at school, didn't do anything for me. I did weed when I was older. It fucked me up a little bit. I was hanging out with the wrong people. I started just becoming a bit lazy, and then I got off it for ages. And then I made a conscious decision as I got older, because I didn't want to drink anymore, bro. Because fuck, you know the circle, everyone drinks heavy, bro, heavy. Like, oh, my cousin will drink a bottle in front of me. I'm like, fuck, that's how I used to drink. Yeah. Bad. And I stopped enjoying going out because I wanted to get married, right? So I'm like, okay, I want to stop going clubbing. I want to stop drinking, but I still want to have some fun. I like it. I enjoy it. So it was a conscious decision. My parents actually busted me just before I got married. They found my stash in my room. And I had to sit my parents down, old school levels, and explain to them why I smoke weed. And funny enough, they actually accepted it. They weren't... I explained it in a smart way. It wasn't like, oh, I want to get high. It's like, well, alcohol's worse for you.
Hashish.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Hashish. But it's, Mum, I don't want to drink anymore. I stopped smoking cigarettes because I was using weed, right? So it was more of a conscious decision more than anything. And I just enjoyed the fact that now I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to party. I want to just chill. And right, Friday night, have a couple of beers, have a joint, have a barbecue, go home. Nothing. No one gets impacted. I'm not going to kill some guy on the road because I'm psychotically losing my mind. I'm not going to go home and bash my wife. I'm not going to go home and do anything.
It's more of a personal opinion at this stage.
100%. And I'm not sitting here saying everyone needs to start smoking weed. Yeah. But another part of it, which is CBD, I'm a very big advocate of CBD.
What is CBD? Everyone talks about it.
CBD is just another part of weed that hasn't got any THC. So THC is what the psychotic part that gets you high and gets you hungry.
Medical,
and all that stuff.
More medical, CBD?
It's more medical. So I take it for anxiety, for stress, for sleep. Your body...
How do you take it?
Under your tongue.
Oh,
1 ml drop
the drop
under your tongue.
Yeah. I know that then.
It's got no high... you can drink the whole body when you get high. It's got
and is that legal, that stuff?
Is it legal?
Does it fall under medicinal?
It doesn't fall under medicinal marijuana, no. It's a separate side of marijuana.
Can you buy it from a shop?
No.
Okay, so it's not legal.
It is, but it isn't. I don't know what it is because it's not... You can buy hemp seed oil from Woolies, but you can't buy CBD oil. So CBD and hemp are two different things.
What's CBD stand for?
Cannabinoid.
Something. It's got
cannabinoid.
Okay,
so import in is going on.
Cannabinoid. But we have cannabinoid receptors in our body already. Like I believe it's babies become attached to the breast milk because breast milk has cannabinoids in it. So our bodies have it in us already, right? So there's a few things. My choice on weed was a very logical decision. First of all, I didn't really find much about in the religious side of things where it's sort of condemned. Like wine is condemned quite heavily. A lot of other things are, but wine, drinking. Like
wine's condemned, but like, Jesus turned water.
No, but like to be consumed by wine is how the terminology
is. Condemned
says
if it's done to get drunk.
Correct. So then weed's weird because you smoke to get high, but then it's not like you're drunk.
I think it comes, and we said we're not going to go near religion.
Yeah.
But
that's true. We said it. We've been talking about it.
But it does go under not harming your body.
Yeah.
Correct. At the end of the day, it's not.
But then here's the tricky thing, right? There's some people there's a lot of studies to show that it doesn't harm you.
Bro, the Coke Zeros I get every day.
Because that's the worst for you, bro. Straight out, fake sugar. You may as well just have real sugar, right? My business partner lives off it.
Coke no sugar.
He goes, Coke no sugar. I'm like, mate, like, cuz why do you drink it? I'm like, bro, just drink normal. You're just swapping real sugar with fake sugar. Yeah. How can that be better for you? And he's like, I just like the taste. I'm like, but bro, you're just having fake sugar. Just have the real shit, but just reduce it. I don't know. But with weed, you can call it for anything, obesity, anything, any form of abuse. It really depends on how and when you use it and what you're using it for, right? I'm not taking it because I need to escape from reality and because life's too hard. It's genuinely not that. It's like end of the day, I've got a fucking busy day. Boys asleep, wife's making dinner. I'm happy. I'll have a little smoke and I'm good.
Chill out.
Yeah, it's not for anything else. It's not to... It's just specifically for that. And I find comfort in that. But the CBD also almost acts in the same capacity, but it just doesn't give you a high. That's where I really like the CBD. So, bro, it's for me, I still do from anxiety, stress. Like it's been built over years, man. And that's the other thing. I'm very open to talk about it because no one really talks about it. I always openly talk. It was from a previous job. Fucked me right up. My guts, I became lactose intolerant because of stress. Crazy. Yeah. Crazy, bro. It was a big wake-up call for me. Because when you get nervous and you get the butterflies,
It's good that you're vocal about it because it gives other guys the chance.
Bro, anyone that is suffering, anyone that feels like when they worry a lot and they start like I get goosebumps. Look.
Yeah, you get sick in the stomach.
Yeah,
when
you start getting worried.
And that's anxiety. Yeah.
Apparently, there's a thing in your stomach called a venous vein that has its own brain, which is how you start thinking and your brain starts reacting with your stomach. I have to look. Don't quote me on that. Some sort of vein in your stomach. But I was strung out on my job, man. It was basically what it was making me question my moral belief. I had to change. I had to literally turn my back on my team, my guys that I'd work with, and they wanted me to lie to them, and I couldn't bring myself to do it, and I was killing myself trying to figure out how to be honest, and all I had to do was just tell them the truth, which I ended up doing, but it's a lot more complicated than it sounds. But I suffered from it I still do, man. It's you sometimes have these days and you just don't feel like getting out of bed, you don't feel like doing anything, you don't want to train, you don't want to exercise, you feel like you just feel flat. That happens to me all the time, bro, fucking most days. But where I've been able to break down what's going on is to realise that they're thoughts. The CBD helps, but the biggest thing is my driver, which is my family.
Yeah.
If I don't work, cousin, the rent's not, the fucking mortgage, the rent's not getting paid, the bills aren't getting paid, my son's going to end up on the street if I don't get off my ass. So I have to, you got to find the balance, right? Because then you can push yourself too hard that way.
You got to find your motivation.
Correct. 100%. Correct. I actually just started BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, yeah.
I was sitting on it for ages, bro. Sitting on it for ages. I said, fuck it, I'm going. Signed up and I went. And it was a big fear. Like, you're just random people. You got a bloke breathing on you, sweating on you. It's a fucking new feeling, new experience.
Coronavirus.
Yeah, well, that's the last thing I'm worried about. Straight up, bro. The last thing I'm worried about is coronavirus right now. Straight the fuck out.
Let's not go there, actually.
Please not.
Let's just talk about the 5G. Nah.
How 5G is because of coronavirus. Nah.
I wish we had 5G.
No,
my phone is always on 3G.
Bro, yeah, we're going to be at 6G before we know it. Anyways, but BJJ was stepping out of my comfort zone, and it's helped. Actually, 1 hour completely changed my perspective on things. I'm dying to go back. I'm going back tomorrow. I can't wait to go back tomorrow because it was a fear that I faced. And although it's not a big deal, but for people that are suffering from things, all I'm trying to say is if you're feeling flat, if you're feeling like you can't, like the gym's boring or you're not getting any sort of any new sort of burst into your life, go and do something like that. Go and rock climb or fucking hike.
Psychologically, it's proven that high intensity training
Yeah.
does release some sort of anxieties and
Definitely.
and stress out of your body.
Bro, you know how sore I am? Because this guy, like, he's
You're challenging
trying to make you stop breathing.
Yeah.
So you're trying to fight that. It's a big challenge, and I love it. I can't wait to go back. The other thing I do is hike a lot, man. In nature, trees, oxygen, no cars, no phone. You're just breathing and walking. It is fucking amazing. Get a mate, for people that are thinking about it, get a friend, there's an app you can download called Wild Walks. Pick a location and go.
Hey, I've got a mad new book. It's about all hidden tracks at the in the Blue Mountains.
No way.
Lost Mountains.
No way.
Follow them on Instagram. They're sick.
Lost Mountains. I'm going to do it right
Mountains.
now. Lost Mountains.
They're cracker.
They've
got a guidebook that they released.
Yep.
And it takes you to all different like watering holes, different tracks.
Are they actually tracks that have been created?
Yeah, they're tracks that have been created. They're all like local kids.
Do you hike?
Nah, fuck that. I don't hike. I'll just drive to wherever I need to go.
I think we chase invoices.
Yeah.
That's a hike.
You're hiking to the invoice, yeah. No, it's very therapeutic. I can't stress it. It's so good because a lot of people won't think of that as being a good form of exercise, but you pick a medium to hard course and you're doing this up and down a mountain, back, you got to go up it and then go down or down and then go up it. You're done by the end of it. It fucks you up, but it's a very beautiful experience.
It's a good release for you too.
Yeah, bro. And you end up, if your walk is to the end of a waterfall, and you jump in at the end, you're sweating, you jump in the water, you swim. You're like, bro, wow, it's you're not looking at the same four walls, the same screen, the same Lebos, the same car. You just change it up.
What's wrong with Lebos?
No, I think Lebos are great. No, but if people, I love talking about mental health, and I think one of the biggest things that helped me was just trying new shit, you know, BJJ, hiking, gym is great. I love training. I love lifting iron and actually burning your muscle. But you do it for that long, unless you genuinely love it, it's something that you'd be like, Like I joined the UFC gym because I wanted to do both. But then if you really want to get good at something, you got to do it 100%.
Dedicate it.
Yeah, so I'm like, fuck it, sacked him, do BJJ. But bro, it's life-changing. Like, just constantly, just like you were saying before, you like to be different, like to change it up, do things. If you adopt that mentality across the board with everything, I'm sick of doing the same shit. I'm sick of going to the same fucking restaurant. Change it up.
Stop being a sheep. I think that's the biggest thing. Just step back.
Yes.
Think about the situation.
You said it. Stop being sheep, bro.
Just think, is it gonna be good for you? Like buying this or doing this, is it gonna benefit you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. No, it's not. It's nice driving a C63, you'd look cool in some people's eyes if
Correct.
you do drugs, for example.
Correct.
But is it beneficial for you?
Correct.
And that's where a lot of people, like, when you lack education, you lack a lot of things you can lack. I don't want to sit here and, what's the word?
Point the finger.
Yeah, point fingers at people because we all have a little problems.
Oh, bro, 100%. It's how long we've gone for an hour and 45, boys. It's been a good ep, but it's Look, I really like. Unless you want to wrap it up, should we? Yeah, I think been gone.
Do I do a face reveal now?
Do I ask?
You know what you should have done?
Just moon the camera.
Listen, you should have, because you make people watch the whole thing. You should have said just wait until like an hour and 30 for a face reveal.
You know what I can do? I'll do it at the start. I will do an intro. I did a podcast with Good Night to Everyone to reveal this face, but right at an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh no, you just say you don't know when you revealed it during the...
You have to watch and find out. And then
thing.
you just drop your pants and shove her in your ass. And that'll be the fucking end scene and boom, the podcast is over. Well, bro, look, I really, really do appreciate you taking the time and speaking to us.
This is very new to me and...
it's good, man. Bro,
it's out of my comfort zone, not going to lie.
You did very well.
But I'm glad I was able to at least... show a bit of my personality.
Yeah, you did.
And who I am, and people around me understand why I do this and that I'm just trying to entertain.
Ultimately, it's just you're just trying to make people laugh.
Make people laugh, and I laugh at my own jokes.
That's good.
As bad as this makes
I did the same thing, but I straight out. But he's got fucking... Your funny... Jokes are funny, bro. So...
not all of them. Look, not all of them. It's a hit and miss for me. Like... Lately, I haven't been putting too much effort because I've been working, but now that it's eased up a little.
That's good, man.
Gonna try and get back into it.
Well, bro, don't turn down the option of starting your own podcast either, because you got a lot of good stuff, bro. Your thoughts and what's behind the camera, behind the phone is very, very, very different to what people actually think. And if your core is to make people feel better and to make them laugh, and if one of your keys is to sort of break down those walls of mental health, bro. People need to hear more of it because we don't hear it enough.
And trust me, biggest key to help mental health is humor.
Yeah, 100%.
Trust me, and I've felt that.
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald has said laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah,
it's true.
It helps.
You remember that movie Patch Adams?
No, I didn't watch it.
You watch Patch Adams, Robin Williams, the old movie?
No.
Wow. When you finish here, go watch it, please.
I don't watch movies. I don't have time. I've got 3 kids.
Oh, no, but it's an old movie. It's a real good movie. He's literally goes into a sick hospital, these kids, and he just makes them laugh all the time.
That's good.
And bro, they do say laughter is the best medicine, because it is. Because, mate, I never met a depressed comedian, so they're always fucking happy and always laughing. So
I'm depressed. No, joking.
Right at the end. But yeah, no.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for
Ben
having
the Alien
me. And
El.
Thanks, bro.
Boys,
I appreciate
thank you. And I appreciate the scotch too, by the way. You didn't have to.
No worries.
You really didn't have to. But all right, everyone else, love you all. Fuck yous later.